Hello, this is Philip, your favorite real estate advisor and educator and investor. Today we are here in the United States. Our coverage or the work that we do is not limited to one geographical location. If you've been with us for some time, you would have realized that already. So we've shown you properties in Ghana, we've shown you properties in England, and today we're going to show you one in the United States. And the goal of this channel is not to show properties which are available for rent or sale. It is also an educative channel. So today we're going to educate you on buying properties, finishing it, which one is a smarter way to go. So this video in particular is going to talk about if you already have a property with an unfinished space, or if you are building off plan, or if you are buying a property, what is advisable to do to begin with. If you're buying off plan, or if you are buying a property and there is an unfinished space, one thing that you may want to consider is what will be the upfront cost. Realize that anytime you buy anything on credit, it comes with an interest. So if you buy a property and you're doing it off plan, let's say it costs $700,000, right? And you want to add the finished basement, then they will add the cost of the finished basement to the loan. Then it will be added to the term of the loan. So if it's a 30-year term loan, then the cost of the basement will also be added to the loan amount, and then over the period of time. So if even a 7% interest rate, 6% or 8% interest rate, now you're paying that amount of interest over the loan amount for whatever you add on. So one advice I'll give to you is always consider what you can add to the property to add value after construction. There are certain things that if you want to do after construction, it becomes much more expensive. Example, if you are doing an unfinished basement and you don't have the raftings for the toilet and the bath, or if you intend to have a wet bar or a shower downstairs, it is important that you have them at least do the roughing. That becomes easier to finish it. But if they don't even have the roughing, then now you have to dig through the concrete, get to the pipes, do the connection and all of that. So it makes it more difficult. So this is a property that was bought off plan. And what the owner decided to do is to do the finished basement later. If you're looking for any contractor in the Cincinnati area, you can get in touch with us and we'll be able to connect you with a good one. So with this property, it was all just the studs, right? No drywall. So it was just the studs. And then for the inner spaces, it had the insulation. So, and then also for the outside spaces, actually, it had the insulation. So just the studs, no drywall, nothing. Then the owner contacted a contractor to finish the basement for them. So this finished basement comes with a bedroom. What makes this a bedroom is that it has an egress window. When we say egress window, it is the dimension, right? It has to be big enough to where, in case of emergency, you'll be able to get out. So this is a bedroom. It also has two windows up here. The other thing that also makes it a bedroom is you need a closet. So those are the two criteria, especially any space that you have in the house, but most especially in the basement. You need a closet and you also need an egress window. If it's not in the basement, you could have a window, not necessarily egress, but then it has to meet a certain dimension. And also it needs a closet. If not, it could be termed as a study area or anything like that. So now, during the construction, you have the builders put in the egress window. Most of the time, it comes at an extra cost. And that is one of the things. If you do not have it done during construction, now you have to cut into the concrete and then do an egress window. So it's cheaper to have them put in the egress window during construction, right? And then you pay an extra for it. But it will be way cheaper doing it from construction than doing it later. The other thing also is if you're doing a finished basement, or if you intend to, after buying, it is important that you do it, because if you don't have it and you just have this space, you cannot list it as a bedroom. right? So it is important. If not, you cannot list it as a bedroom. You can list it as a study, a sleep area, or whatever, but you cannot list it as a bedroom, which reduces the value of the house. So if you're going to spend so much in finishing the basement, then it's worth it that you add a egress window to it. All right. Construction is still going on, so you hear some background noise. Please pardon us with that. So this also is a switch, and it's also a dimmer. So you can dim, and then you can also increase the brightness. These things, if you're doing with the builder, it comes at an extra cost, an average of about $60 to $100 per switch. Here is going to be the countertop, all right? And then there's going to be a fridge here. The sink is going to be right here. And this is your entertainment area with the TV point, sound system connected, and all of that. So you're going to have surround sound. And this is going to be your countertop. What we use for the sink is right here. Now let's look at the bathroom. So since here is going to be used for entertainment, and there's also a bedroom down here, you need a bathroom to be convenient. So this is a full-size bathroom. You have your shower right here, your toilet seat, and really it's big. Look at the space between the shower and the toilet seat, and between the toilet seat and the sink. Other things that you also need when you're doing spaces like this is your smoke detector, which we have one fitted behind you, and then you also need your fire alarm detectors and all that. So now we're doing the baseboards, and then we're going to do the carpet. It's always good to leave a utility space because that is where you're going to keep some of your stuff. And also you have your boiler in there, your vent system, and all of that. So it is always important to have that. And then here is under the stairs storage. So you also keep that, right? So another good thing about finishing a basement, which I have to say is, now some of the switches or sockets, so let's say these sockets right here, you have the option of using the Type-C charger, the USB connection. So you have various options because you're finishing it after construction, right? So you have a lot of options to do outdoors. And then you also have choices with the carpet that you want to use, or if you want to do vinyl or plug vinyl, or you want to do hardwood floor, whatever you want to do, you can do it. And relatively, it's much cheaper. Let me tell you this, for a space like this, if you are to do it during construction by the builder, it will cost you about $20,000 to $25,000. And they're not going to finish this whole space for you. Usually it is just a small, maybe half of this finished space that they're going to do. You're not going to have the speakers. You're not going to have the bar area included. It might have a shower in there, but then it may also have a bedroom or not. But usually it's between 18 to 25,000 when the builders do it. And as I mentioned earlier, they're still going to add it to the loan amount and then to the loan term. So it is always good that you do what you can after the builder have done it. I hope you've learned something from this video. And once again, this is Feel Good from Feel Good Homes. Let's meet in the next one as we continue to learn.